Time now for the morning rush. Albuquerque student athletes are rallying together to take on the school board. More than 100 people gathered yesterday to protest the school board's decision to not transition into a hybrid model. High school athletics can only happen if a school is in the hybrid learning system. Protesters either want APS to change its decision or for the state to decouple the state's rule.
People across the metro are drawing attention to two law enforcement reform bills, saying that they could put police in danger. New Mexico Back in the Blue organized a rally in Rio Rancho yesterday, supporting the officers who continue to put their lives on the line. The group called attention to Senate Bill 227, which would regulate the use of physical force by officers, and House Bill 4, which would get rid of qualified immunity for officers. Erica.
And the next big weather maker will arrive on Wednesday to Thursday. What we're expecting, some snow to the northern mountains, could be up to around 6 inches in spots. As for central New Mexico, a lot of our lower elevations will see a chance for some mix and rain, and southern New Mexico will be mostly dry. As this cold front moves through, temperatures are going to plummet for the end of the week.
All Boeing 777 planes are out of service this morning. It's after one of the planes suffered engine failure after takeoff in Denver. Over the weekend, the plane's engines caught fire and fell apart in the air, raining debris on a Denver suburb. No one was injured and the plane landed safely. More than 200 people were on board. Authorities are investigating the cause of that engine failure.
An effort to address food insecurity is making its way through the state legislature. House Bill 207 would create a food, hunger, and farm council to improve existing food and hunger programs, support food production within the state, promote sustainable practices, and to foster job creation in the agricultural sector. The bill is now headed to its second committee.
Valencia County students are getting improved Wi-Fi capabilities. The Belen Board of Education approved the purchase of more than 400 Verizon hotspots. The Los Salinas Board of Education approved 300 hotspots from T-Mobile, funded by a grant and T-Mobile initiative. The district identified over 400 families had issues with internet access.
The full House could vote on President Joe Biden's COVID-19 relief bill this week. $1.9 trillion plan includes a $1,400 stimulus check to Americans and dependents. The most controversial portion of the bill is a $15 an hour minimum wage hike. The biggest concern for Republicans is the major price tag.
A new variant of the coronavirus has been found here in New Mexico. The Journal reports that the study shows no evidence that the variant is more transmissible, severe, or makes vaccines any less effective. Daryl Doman and Daryl Dinwiddie, the scientists from the UNM, discovered that the variant called Q677P through New Mexico virus samples. Well, the two say that it's common for the viruses to mutate, but the problem is that it could become more of a threat.
TSA is expecting a big boom in summer travel. As a result, they're hiring about 6,000 new workers by the summer. The administration says the COVID-19 vaccines could lead to normal summer travel, medical coverage, vacation, sick leave, and retirement plans all being offered.
And here's a look at the Metro Threat Index. It's very low today. We do have some chilly temperatures this morning, so bundle up. But this afternoon will be sunny and mild.
Facebook's Los Lunas data center is looking to expand. The company wants to add 6 new buildings, 2 being built in the next 2 years, which will cost $800 million to construct and equip. Greater Kudu LLC filed an application for $6.6 million worth of industrial revenue bonds. If approved, the expansion could bring up to 300 new jobs and 30 more full-time employees.
New Mexico Representative Deb Haaland is scheduled to face tough questions during her confirmation hearing. Haaland will go before a Senate Judiciary Committee tomorrow. It says President Joe Biden's nominee for Secretary of the Interior. She would be put in charge of the country's natural resources. If confirmed, she will be the first Native American to hold a cabinet position.
Soon you could be watching some new films completed in New Mexico during the pandemic. The 3 films, Vengeance, Cop Shop, and Intrusion, were all produced within the last few months. The plot of Vengeance is a secret. Cop Shop is a crime syndicate fixer who intentionally goes to prison. Intrusion involves a home invasion and shooting.
The leader of a jazz band in Farmington is highlighting the rich culture in northwest New Mexico. Delbert Anderson is drawing attention to the area with the help of a $30,000 grant that he was awarded. His band, along with the Julia Keefe Quartet and the Brad Good Quintet, will be featured in the Blue Desert Virtual Tour. The 3-concert series is in April.
A beloved community theater is asking for your help to stay open. For 91 years, the Albuquerque Little Theater has provided entertainment to families. The pandemic caused the theater to shut its doors. They've had to lay off staff and apply for grants to stay afloat. If you'd like to donate to the theater, we did post a link for you at alwaysonkRQE.com.
Now let's get a look at that morning drive. As you're heading out the door, no crashes or slowdowns for your morning commute. All the maps are looking green.
Like father, like son, Albuquerque Fire Rescue is sharing a great family story within their department. AFR posted this photo to their social media pages showing Captain Dominic Archibek and his son, second-class firefighter Dylan. Well, that first photo taken back in 2006 on the left right there when Dylan was looking up to his dad. Now Dylan is saving lives right alongside him.
Oh, I love this story.
Very, very cool.
Welcome back. On this day, February 22nd of 1975, a strong blizzard moved over the east side of the state, and it dropped over a foot of snow in spots, especially off to the far east plains. Highways were closed and thousands of people ended up stranded.
Time now for the 5 facts. At number 5, the Albuquerque Little Theater is asking for help to avoid the curtain closing for good. About a year ago, the pandemic caused the theater to shut their doors. The executive director says since then they've had to lay off a number of their employees as well as fight for every grant to try and stay afloat. Spokesperson with the governor's office told News 13 that the state will evaluate reopening theaters after counties reach the green level. If you'd like to help out the Albuquerque Little Theater, we have posted a link at alwaysonkrqe.com.
Number 4, 2 scientists from UNM have discovered a new variant of the coronavirus. The journal reports that the study shows new evidence the variant is more transmissible, severe, or makes vaccines any less effective. Daryl Dahman and Daryl Dinwiddie discovered the variant called Q677P through New Mexico virus samples. The two say it's common for viruses to mutate, but the problem is that it could become more of a threat. As of this week, the variant has been found in at least 21 other states.
And at number 3, some of us will quiet down the wind, but eastern New Mexico is going to stay gusty these next couple of days. Winds coming in from the northwest today over the mountain chain and gusting to around 35 miles per hour. Tomorrow, those winds will shift in from the west, staying gusty across the East Plains. We could see some gusts tomorrow up to around 40 miles per hour.
Number 2 now, people across the metro are drawing attention to 2 law enforcement reform bills, and they could put police in danger. New Mexico, Back in the Blue, organized a rally on Southern Boulevard in Rio Rancho yesterday morning. The group called attention to Senate Bill 227, which would regulate the use of physical force by officers. They also brought light to House Bill 4, which would get rid of qualified immunity for officers. The group claims that these bills put officers' lives at risk. If you want to read more on these bills, go to our website. That's alwaysonkrqe.com.
And at number 1, APS student athletes are continuing their fight to get back into the game. Yesterday, more than 100 people gathered. That was to protest outside of the school board's headquarters here and the decision to not transition into a hybrid model. Under the PED's current rules, high school athletics can only happen if a school is in the hybrid learning system. Athletes say that they're frustrated and they feel like their voices are not being heard. Protesters either want APS to change its decision or for the state to decouple the rule. The school board president says that they support the decoupling of athletes from the hybrid model.